If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again, and welcome to episode number 89 of the Career Mode Road to Glory here on FIFA 15. We start with some bad news. Francisco Señorelli's picked up an injury, unfortunately, out on international duty with Venezuela, which means he's going to be out for 6 weeks, so that'll be a big miss. He's a nice, decent squad rotation player that we can have with our central midfield. So we're two of the youngsters that we brought in the transfer window, which of course ended yesterday after the rather eventful local derby in the Capital One Cup. That I won't spoil the result from if you haven't seen it, so definitely check the last episode from the annotation in the bottom left hand side of your screen, or obviously from the channel page itself before watching this one, in case I do spoil it for you a little bit later on. But we're out of the transfer window now, and obviously yesterday we had a rather eventful transfer deadline day as well, with some huge moves, unexpected huge moves as well being done. But as you can see, they've got Jermaine Defoe up top, Swansea City, as well as Ivan Popov, who obviously scored a great goal for Bulgaria Saturday evening against Italy, so we know the threats that he poses. We also played Swansea recently in the My Player series as well over the weekend, so we really know what sort of threats they pose. But obviously in the 4th season here, and we were in the 4th season in My Player as well, so kind of at the same stage, and they were playing Gora then as well. As you can see, he had the first opportunity for them, and they started on top. Swansea obviously the side that are going to try and dominate possession and dominate chances in the opening few stages here in this game. I always tend to start fast when it comes to league seasons, and then my form tends to die off. There have been a few calls in the comments for me to step it up to legendary, and I am genuinely thinking about it, but I want to see how far I can go, or not necessarily how far I can go, but just how I do in the first half of this season. And obviously if my form starts to tail off towards Christmas, then we'll leave it on world class. If I'm still around about where I am in the league now, then I will contemplate stepping it up to legendary. But for now, at least, we're going to leave it where it is and continue to play on world class. As you can see, we're going to have a decent chance here. Georgiev is played through by his strike partner Casada, and it's going to drill it back across to him. Pulls off brilliantly, but unfortunately the finish is left a little bit wanting, and he hits the post, but he finds Ryan Donaldson on the edge of the box. He tries to go for the other corner, and the goalkeeper Cornell makes another very, very good save. They're going with Cornell over, of course, the guy that we had on loan from them last year, Zabre. Then Nathan Dyer just goes on a brilliant run here. Nice little Maradona turn, a couple of jinks left and right, takes it past 2 or 3 defenders, and then the shot is well blocked by our new centre-back signing, Lucio Cardoza, obviously replacing the outgoing Josh Coulson, who went to Portsmouth, I think it was, in the transfer window. That may have even have been in yesterday's episode as well, or that might have been the episode before. I can't quite remember. But as you can see now, pushing into the second half even further, O'Halloran stands it up into the box. Casada again with a chance, but on the first time volley can't quite swivel it into the bottom corner. And then they come forward yet again. Nathan Dyer seemed to be their main source of creativity down the left. Lovely turn by Popov. Perhaps did a little bit too much with it there, trying to find a bit of space. Jermaine Defoe kind of got in the way, but then Nathan Dyer has a good old crack at it. There's a good save by Galese, and we're able to get it clear, scramble it clear, and there's not too long left to go with Jenkins Chikoui getting it to Spaller. We're still at 0-0 here, as you can see. Squared out wide to Michael O'Halloran. The ball drops here for Georgiev, and I've got all sorts of things going through my mind there. Do I pass it? Do I shoot? Do I try and take the defender on? I just decided to give it a whack. Unfortunately, proved to be the wrong decision. So we stayed at 0-0, and that was how the game was going to finish. We did have the chance to win it late on, but they had numerous chances to win it themselves. So I was quite pleased to have come away from that game with a point, especially after the way that we've been playing well, but not necessarily too well in the Barclays Premier League so far. But as you can see, this game away from home at Goodison Park against Everton actually pits 7th place us against 8th placed them, but their goal difference is better than ours, although there's no way that they could draw level on us in points. If they win, they'll go above us, and if we draw, obviously we'll stay one ahead of them. So as you can see though, a strong side put out by them. A bit of a strange defence. I don't know who Eastwood and Clough are. I don't know whether they're youngsters that they have in the Everton youth setup currently in real life, and they've just been bled through here in the 4th season, or whether they're players that they've brought in during the 4 seasons that we've been here. But obviously they've still got Seamus Coleman at right back, still got Luke Garbutt at left back, who obviously incidentally spent the first season of this particular save when we were in League 2 on loan at us, and was very good indeed at
Cambridge United during that particular season. A vital part of our promotion season that year. But Ross Barkley drives through my defence there. Great strike by him and a decent save by Goodison. I'm not really too sure what to make of him so far, my goalkeeper. He does make great saves like that and keeps my clean sheet tally ticking over, but then doesn't seem too convincing with saves like that. He needs to come and claim that, just be dominant in his box and tell the defenders it's mine, keep us up, and unfortunately he didn't. And then the next corner is going to come in from Aidan McGeady, still only inside the opening 5 minutes. And well, it doesn't matter who you've got in goal, nobody's saving a header like that. Absolute rocket header from Ross Barkley. He doesn't score many headers in real life, but that one bulleted into the bottom corner. Really, really good header. And Everton took a 1-0 lead inside the opening 5 minutes, but as you can see, this is pretty much straight from kickoff. Spauller does a nice little bit of footwork to completely do Aidan McGeady not once but twice. Then Ivan Santalan, our left back, drives inside here. Seamus Coleman goes for the tackle, completely misses the ball, and Santalan was just about on the line, which of course by the letter of the law counts as inside the box, so we are going to get a penalty. Seamus Coleman does get a yellow card for the foul as well in the 8th minute. You'll see from the replay Santalan was just heading out of the box, so if he times it a little bit later, it would have been a free kick on the edge and not a pen, but he caught him on the line. Fabian Caceres going to step up. Which way is he going to go? Top right, of course. Right into the top right as well. And a decent finish makes it 1-1 after 10 minutes. So an exciting start here at Goodison Park in the rain up in the northwest. So we'll try and continue that if we possibly can. As you can see, Aguilar gets it into Georgiev here. Obviously going to try and turn it onto his left foot. Really good attempt at a shot. Good save by Joel. But then Donaldson's there on the rebound. Puts it into the back of the net. And I was waiting for the referee's whistle, I'll be honest. If you see for the couple of replays, you may have even seen it first time round. I think he pushes James McCarthy in the back as he's on his way up there. You'll see from the second replay, he just pushes him in the back and then kind of scoops the ball into the back of the net. Referee didn't give anything. We take a 2-1 advantage, and I'm not really going to complain. So into the second half we go. Brought on another change in midfield, bringing on Gabbiadini, our other young youngster in the young youngster as opposed to an old youngster. Our other youngster in the midfield to replace Aguilar. Both of them are two young free agent promising signings that we brought in during the summer transfer window. But Romelu Lukaku came off the bench and really was going to cause me some problems here. Not the best of passes from Cardoso. Not really too sure why he tried the back heel there. Lukaku has a perfect opportunity there to shoot, but decides to square it to McGeady. Not really too sure why. Glace does get there, but again, not really very convincing. Has to make another save here from that shot from the edge of the box. Then has to make another save from the same player yet again just a few seconds later. Fortunately for me, though, he was on hand to make all three saves, so I can't really complain too much, even though the saves kind of went straight back out into the danger zone. But Georgiev is through here, one-on-one. Good pace to get around Eastwood. Great strike. And Joel again makes a very good save, similar to the one he made after or just prior to Ryan Donaldson giving us the 2-1 goal that eventually gave us the lead. So, or gave us the win, rather. He gave us the lead immediately and then eventually gave us the 2-1 win. So, a victory away from home at Goodison Park. Not necessarily deserved. We probably should have drawn that game, considering the amount of chances that Everton had and the quality of chances that they had, and the quality of chances like that Lukaku one where he just should have shot and probably would have scored, and he decided to turn it down. But as you can see here, we're going through a squad report. We've obviously not had one for a week because we only do squad reports on a Monday. A couple of players starting to grow quite nicely in this BPL season. As you can see, Paul Downing's up one. Andrew Mauer, actually, the goalkeeper out on loan, is growing quite nicely as well, which is good to see because I'm going to need him to become a rotation keeper sooner rather than later. So Stuart Atkinson will be the player that goes out on loan next time around. But as you can see, we've got plenty of players that are growing quite nicely. A few that aren't. Obviously, the rotation players that actually haven't seen any first-team football so far, like Greg Taylor and Ricky Ring, aren't growing. One man that is growing, though, is our young superstar, Jenkins Chikoe. You guys told me to keep hold of him, and we are doing so, and he is, so far, growing quite nicely. Up one rating to 77. Still only valued at 3.3 million, but hoping that that value will go up over the next few weeks and months in-game, maybe even the next year or so in-game. But for some reason, Spauller has gone down one rating, despite all of his stats going up. So I can't really put my finger on as to why, because he's played every single game that we've played since he came into the starting line, or since we came into the club. And his stats are going up on an individual basis, but his overall went down. So if you guys can decipher that for me, then let me know in the comment section what that's all about, because I genuinely have no idea. Unfortunately, no movement yet on Joe Dunk, our really youngster. That's really youngster. That doesn't even make sense, Ches. Our really young guy that we brought in from the youth setup, 17 years of age, looking for him to grow. Fabian Caceres starting to grow, as is Strahil Georgiev. so we're pleased to see him growing as well. Benik Afobe not really growing too much, although he did score a couple of good goals yesterday. Kevin Schmidt going up one as well. He's only played one game for us so far, but nice to see him making some growth. Juan Carlos Arce is a player that I don't want, I can't get rid of. Same with Tom Elliott, don't want him, can't get rid of him. They're just stuck deadwood in the squad that we can't really seem to shift, unfortunately, and I want to replace them in the squad, but until they leave, I can't do so because I don't have any money. That is the plan. To move on, Greg Taylor, Riku Ring, Tom Elliott and Juan Carlos Arce, they're the three players that I want to move on, and they're the three players that we tried to move on to replace them in the previous window, but no offers came in for them. We were lucky that the one came in for Josh Coulson, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to bring in Spauller and a goalkeeper. But as you can see here, we are currently sat fourth in the table. But like I say, I always seem to start strong. Every single season we've started very strong. And then around about Christmas time, between say November to March, my form tends to kind of go into an uncertain and unsettled spell, and I don't necessarily play the best football. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes, and then we'll make another judgment around about the Christmas time in this particular series as to whether we step it up to legendary or not, judging by how we're doing in the league. Although, you know, it's not unheard of for a side to come up and have a decent season. Obviously, Ipswich came up a few years ago and finished fifth in their first season in the Premier League, and someone else did it recently, and I cannot remember for the life of me who it was. It might even have been Newcastle. Did they come up from the Championship and then finish fifth under Alan Pardew? I can't quite remember. It may be in the season after they came up. I might be wrong, but you guys will let me know in the comments. You're more knowledgeable about these sorts of things, or you have better memories than I do. But that'll bring today's episode to a close, though. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check the channel page for anything you may have missed over the past few days, and I will see you next time.